Tennessee versus UConn, who Butler had lost to in the grand finals, going on the B stream, and then going on the A stream next will be the FC Seminoles versus the Cincinnati Bearcats. So right now, on our own stream, once again, it's the Oregon Ducks taking on Butler Bulldogs.
Yeah, and I think this round of 16 is certainly the most interesting slate of matchups that we'll have the whole tournament, as upsets are definitely possible, but you also saw very high-quality games with some really strong teams, and anybody can beat anybody, as we just saw with Syracuse and San Diego State. Right now, Oregon have to be considered the favorites here. Saw them on this stream yesterday, so see how they're going to play with Aramis as compared to CBiz. Still playing with J-Way as a sub, so not at their full strength. They have to still be considered the team in the driver's seat for this series, though.
Great. I mean, hey, sometimes your sub steps up and gets a super sub moniker, so I mean, J-Way. Whoa. English is not my strong suit, even though it's what I've spoken my whole life.
It happens.
But J-Way is trying to step in here and get that super sub moniker and help out these Oregon Ducks team to advance to that quarterfinals round of 16 matchup. But have to get through. Oh, yeah, it would just be quarterfinals.
It would.
Anyway, starting off strong, getting the first goal in the series, and the first goal for this Oregon Ducks team. Getting us started here, 3:37 on the board, so took a little bit to get our first goal in the series, but hey, once there's one, there's plenty more to follow after that. So.
Yeah. Red Sea just kind of parted with the Butler defense there, it looks like. And gonna have to...
Be open now.
Yeah, and this Oregon team, they're not going to give you a whole lot, but they're also not going to really push for a ton there. They're going to capitalize off of your mistakes. That's why Butler needs to be very clinical here in this series. They can't allow open backboards to be given to J-Way like that. The brace coming in for the man in that pink fennec, as he is starting out hot in game number 1 for the Oregon Ducks.
That's right. We were talking about maybe giving him the super sub moniker. Well, there's a chance he could earn that, but I mean, that's definitely a good way to start a series if you want to get that super sub moniker for this Oregon Ducks team. I mean, getting both of the goals here so far, still 3 minutes left on the clock. Still plenty of series left to play for the Butler Bulldogs to get back into it, but definitely a good way to start off if you're the Oregon Ducks. Good pass high from Aramis. Trying to get that backboard pass to a teammate, but you were able to clear it out. Grigg, get it back into that orange half.
Yeah, I haven't really said a lot about Butler so far, but they've been very quiet, really giving Oregon a lot of space to work with, and that's not the best way to play against a team of this caliber in Oregon. They have a lot of momentum coming in here. They were kind of a middling team, a little bit above average in the Big Ten going into their conference playoffs, but they've really picked it up, taking wins over Rutgers, as well as I believe it was Indiana and Nebraska, who they beat to take home the Big Ten crown and cement themselves as the number 2 seed in the region. And with their win over Clemson yesterday, also on this stream, they will be playing with a lot of confidence, and they will be testing Butler to see if someone can slow them down. That shot by Craig off the crossbar. Oregon, one of the few chances they've given up. They will not be any worse after it, as they remain up by 2.
Right. Something interesting about this Oregon team is they rank in the top 10 of all teams in score per game as a team, but they don't rank in any of the other categories as a team, which is interesting. So they're able to rack up those points quite well, but they don't really outshine in really any of the categories. So, well-rounded team, you could say that they are, but I mean, ain't no matter, especially when you're winning the games. As long as you're winning, you can't really be too disappointed.
Yeah, and winning certainly Oregon are right now. As a minute left on the clock, firmly in control of this game, and kind of these 2-0 leads. Oregon will keep a death grip on, as they just don't let them go. And Aramis, a great shot to the top right corner, will extend that 1-3. as really Butler just no closer to solving the Oregon puzzle, as just left on the back foot time and time again, giving up goals when the execution is there for the Ducks, and more often than not, it is.
Right. Technically, also speaking, the Oregon Ducks are playing with 2 subs here in Aramis and Imminent. In the regular season combined, Aramis and J-Way, Imminent is the normal starter that they have, I should say. Oh, what a great save from Imminent there, but just barely able to keep it out for longer before Mira finally puts that ball into the back of the net. But as I was saying, J-Way and Aramis have a combined total games of 14 in the entire regular season. And, well, the Oregon Ducks played 30 as a team, so definitely stepping up here when it matters, able to fill in, and kind of filling in a big way.
Yeah, they do.
They are currently leading the game 3-1.
They do seem to be meshing very well right now, and that's going to be an open net for Imminent to shoot at. The sole starter playing here for Oregon, finding goal number 4. Everybody shooting and everybody scoring for the Ducks. Another open net left by Butler. Really a underwhelming game from them. You have to expect a lot more. They did advance here from a forfeit win over reseeded Indiana, denying a Big Ten tournament rematch, but either way, they will need to step it up no matter how they got here, as right now it is all Oregon in game 1.
Right. 4-1 in game number 1. Imminent had finally gotten his first goal, the lone starter, allowing his subs to come in and take his place for a little bit before he finally decides to score on his own regard. But we'll have to see how this Butler team is able to cover from that 4-1 loss to Oregon. How they are able to stop that Oregon offense. They were able to for a little while after those first 3 goals were scored. It took a little bit, but at the end there, Oregon was finally able to open up the scoring once again. Butler just needs those stretches where they're able to stop Oregon from scoring for a lot longer, and then they also need to score during that time quite more, because 1 goal against this Oregon offense, that's not gonna cut it.
Oh, and Butler even outshot Oregon 8-5, but Oregon converting on 4 of their 5 opportunities will be enough. More than enough, even. Very good efficiency from this team, and I'm not surprised. They don't play super flashy, but they have the ability to. They just like to control games and see them through. And that is what I do expect to see here in game 2 as well, as we get ready to go on Forbidden Temple.
Sure. Yeah, and as you said, they aren't super flashy. They just play well-rounded, and I'd like to say, as I pointed out earlier, it's kind of reflected in their team stats. They rank top 10 in score per game, but no other category. So we saw it in game number 1. They're just a really well-rounded team. They don't really outshine in any specific category. They just play clinical ball and come away with wins.
Yeah, and it's already coming away with a goal here early on in game 2 is Aramis. Only 4 seconds this time. That's all it took for Oregon to get on the board. As just a clean beat on the kickoff. 2 players on Butler going for that right mid. And miscommunication plaguing the Bulldogs here, as already they're going to have to play catch-up.
Took 1 minute and 27 seconds for anybody to score in game number 1, but only 4 seconds in game number 2 this time around. Butler already having to play with a deficit pretty much right away in the match. But, I mean, they look to trying to overcome that. They are not allowing this Oregon team to get anything else close to the net so far here. So, definitely not going to want to allow another cheap goal like that to come through. And now they want to try and transition on offense to get something going for their team. Good shot there from Krieg, and it's going to make its way through. I think that was Kashi just committing some some disruptions on that. Bumping J-Way completely out of the play. Couldn't even control his car there. And we have a tie game.
Yeah, big fan of that backboard bump, really making it so much harder both for Oregon to read that, as well as even just get back to the save in the first place. And that kind of physical play might be what Butler looks to turn to as they look to cement a foothold in this series. Hero looking to do just that off the ceiling, will be shut down, and Akashi's backflip won't do him any good as well. Will allow J-Way to get that dunk. It's going to be off the backboard now. Craig, no read from him. It's open for Aramis, and Oregon right back in the lead, just like that.
Oregon being very clinical here, taking their opportunities as they see fit. They have 2 goals on 3 shots so far. That shooting percentage definitely feeling really healthy right now. Haven't taken much shots, but the shots that they have taken have been very efficient. And I was mistaken, Oregon Ducks, they are 9th place out of all the teams for shots per game with 10.03, so definitely no stranger to taking those shooting opportunities.
Yeah, and efficient is definitely the word I would use to describe this Oregon team right now. With how they play. It's a big double commit from Butler, though that might be an open net. Can anybody get back to this for the Bulldogs? The save just about made. I believe that was Akashi. Able to keep this one out of harm's way for now, and looks like it will be at the end of this exchange. But you can see there Butler with a big scoring opportunity almost immediately the moment they made a mistake. It was converted down the other end by Oregon. And you just have to avoid double committing like that repeatedly. Akashi on 0 boost, making the save. Actually might work out now for Butler. Down the other end, save is made by Imminent. As the Bulldogs are showing a lot of life, they just need to be a little more careful and a little more effective with their chances, as they are starting to find some gaps in the Oregon defense.
That's right. I mean, they have been doing a lot better job of staying on the offensive half this time around. After the first minute or two, they've just been keeping it on that orange half as much as possible. There's a great opportunity there for the Ducks, but not able to convert on that. Shot comes through. Imminent tries finding it towards the net here. Their pass up to Craig. Shot going to be off the backboard. Aramis with a great touch, popping it out, keeping that away from the net. And it's back into the midfield here by Aramis. One of the better shooters on this Oregon team. Currently in the regular season had a 44% shooting percentage. Now, didn't play too many games, so it doesn't qualify for the leaderboards, but still very efficient with his shots when he is playing. And there's another shot and score there from Aramis. Currently shooting 75% in this game right now.
Yeah, and that is his 3rd and Oregon's 3rd. Aramis has been the Ducks' offense this game. And that will be something to keep an eye on as Butler, as they warm up to this series. Can they stop Oregon from being so effective at converting their chances? Right now, it's a bit of a struggle, as even though they're getting better offense, Butler is still unable to really work Oregon away from some of the deadlier opportunities that they've had. And probably would have conceded a couple more goals if it weren't for some offensive miscues from the Ducks. Oh, and there's another one.
Aramis doing it once again, this time off the post and in the net. He has been shooting all over this goal here from the Butler side. I mean, he's hit it left, he's hit it right, he's hit it down, he's hit it up, and now he's even hit it off the post and in the net. So you can't really be safe when Aramis is shooting. If there's an open spot, he will find it and he will get it. Now J-Way taking it through the corner, trying to get it centered. Butler's defense maybe playing a little haphazard right now. Kind of been just taken down so far in this series, and they have to try and find a way to have those better stretches of defense really flourish throughout the entire game instead of just like a minute.
Yeah, and we are into the final minute of Game 2 with Butler yet again down 4-1. It's felt like a different sort of game from them, but the scoreline is the exact same, so maybe I'm a fraud. Either way, 20 seconds to go, and Oregon just kind of playing around right now. They know that this one is out of reach for the Bulldogs yet again. Still, even with a little bit more progress on offense, Butler is unable to prevent Oregon from converting time and time again on the offensive chances that they're given. As, I mean, I said it in game one, still no closer to solving the Oregon puzzle.
That's right. I mean, this Oregon team, they've been really solid together. Aramis having a great game right there himself, shooting 80% with 4 goals and 5 shots. I mean, how can you stop that? When Aramis is shooting as good as he has been shooting, I'm kind of surprised more goals didn't go through, honestly. I mean, this Butler defense, they really need to find a way to both stop Aramis and just be able to get the ball away from their own half for extended periods of time to both bolster the offense and just to keep the Oregon team away from their net for extended periods.
Butler do need to win this game, or they will be in a very rough position in the series, down 0-3 to a team that just maintains control over series and games like their life depends on it. Right now, another double quit from Butler. Not going to do them any good. Imminent zero boost still puts it central. Craig having to dump this one away, where J-Way receives, catches, goes low, trying to fake out the defense, leaving it for Aramis. The shot saved initially, but the putback from J-Way will be good. Oregon yet again on the board first.
This is what the Oregon team has been doing this entire series. I mean, the offense is just dominating right now. They are breaking down that Butler defense to no end. I mean, even if they get 1 or 2 saves, that Oregon offense is relenting, and they just keep pushing it through until they finally get the goal that they've been searching for. And Aramis will get a long shot goal from the midfield now this time around. Even past the midfield quite a bit. Just that Butler half just completely wide open. And now the Oregon Ducks are up 2-0 with 30 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, big positional lapse there for Butler as their second and third men layering in the same part of the field, leaving that back end wide open for a long shot like that one to go through. Still plenty of time left in game number 3, and they will find one back from Mira as a good infield pass for the Bulldogs does result in them finally getting on the board with some good momentum, but have to keep these chances going consistently. You cannot let this be a one-off like it has been for the past 2 games.
Hey, I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch, but I think we're going to see a lot of goals in this game.
We'll see.
Now that I said that, we're probably going to go the next 4 minutes without seeing a goal, but hey, you got to at least acknowledge it when it's happening. That's another shot there from Aramis. It's going to be saved by Mira. Follow-up shot from J-Way, but it's going to be saved away by Mira again, being rock solid on the defense. That go around, not allowing the shot to get through. Can't keep it on that orange half at all, as it's right back onto the defense for Butler.
Yeah, and well, there's a couple of defensive demos coming out of Akashi to give Butler some room to work with. Mira, dribble, beat out though by Imminent. Akashi needing to be strong in the back line. Will actually work out for a big beat for Craig. J-Way last back, getting bumped, but does avoid it and finds the clear to the sidewall. Craig leaving the play now with 0 boost as the Oregon counterattack going downfield, as there's a lot of back and forth action here with Butler really trying to force the issue.
I mean, that's right. That's kind of what you have to do if you're Butler. I mean, you have to force the issue just like that, and Craig will see it through, and we have a tie game with 3 minutes left. Akashi, the demo on the backboard, leaves that Oregon defense kind of scrambling just a little bit, and Craig takes advantage, gets it just around the rotations that they had going on. And I mean, we have a game here. 3 minutes left to play, tie game. Butler, they don't want to go down without a fight. They want to stick in this and show why they've been in this tournament so far.
Yeah, and the team pinch pop on the backline for Oregon not doing them any favors there either. But really, business as usual for them down the offensive end. They're still applying tons of pressure. This one's going to drop down. Can Jayway find the read? Not quite. Imminent will pop it. Probably not what he wanted there, as this gives us a lot of time for Butler to collect themselves. But either way, remains a tied game. Neutral play right now. Another double commit for Oregon might prove deadly. This one's off the backboard. Aramis first to it. Mira backflips. That could be trouble, but it probably will just mean that we're going to be slowed down into the blue corner.
Could have been tactical. Maybe if Craig saw the ball going through. Maybe the comms were like Craig saying that he's got it, but I mean we don't have those comms with us, so we don't know. All we saw is that Mira did end up backflipping, but yeah, that Oregon defense was kind of scrambling a little bit there, but they were able to get the clear out, and then they were able to right themselves. As that's a long shot down, it's going to be off the post. No follow-up. Mira now with the shot. That one's also going to be wide. Butler is having a lot better chances this go around, but they still have yet to take a lead in any of these games yet. They just did not find that final goal to take the lead. Imminent trying to get the lead for Oregon once again, but it's going to be saved away by Krig. This defense is being clutch right now. Akashi off the backboard is going to be popped out, but it's only going as far as Imminent. He's trying to put it right back in. Waterfalls it down. Akashi reading it perfectly. Mira with the clear out. Looks for the follow. Jayway trying to get it through. Gets it past one, but Krig is there to pop it right back into that offensive third for Butler. And this Butler offense trying to get things rolling, trying to keep it up, but they will not be able to stay on that orange half for long enough.
Yeah, something I noticed there was the moment that Butler had even a hint of going on offense, Akashi turned for a demo or two on the defenders in net. That could be something to keep note of, how that play style develops for Butler. Here is Mira, though, with a big chance with time draining off the clock. Will be shut down. Actually might be a conversion attempt for Jayway. Krig's on 0 boost, and he just can't get back to it. Jayway will put Oregon in the lead, as Butler, for all their hard work in Game 3, might find themselves staring down the barrel of an 0-3 series score.
That's right. I mean, the quick transition there from Oregon from defense right to offense just left Krig back without being able to find a pad at all in order to satiate his boost hunger, and Imminent will find another goal here real quick after that last one, and now there's a 2-goal lead with 20 seconds left. Butler, I think they kind of let off the gas a little bit too much here, and now Oregon is finally finding those goals once again.
Yeah, and this one will probably, unless this attempt here gets converted, that will be all she wrote for game number 3. As Butler gets closer, as they have in each game this series, but they are still not able to really find those winning plays that you need out of a tournament contending team. The only one here on the field so far, the Oregon Ducks, they will move to quadruple match point.
Great. Currently happening elsewhere in the tournament. Tennessee Volunteers are leading 4-3 in game number 3. They have won both the previous games as well. Florida State is currently leading Cincinnati in game number 3, but down 0-2 in the series. That's a little bit of a surprise, because I want to say, out of all the prediction brackets I saw, Florida State was one of the favorites to make it to at least quarters, if not semis. But then Purdue has a 2-0 series lead against Kansas. They just finished up in overtime to get that second game win. That's another real big upset. Kansas was a heavy favorite.
Kansas might be playing without Sauce right now, I believe, so that could be a big reason there.
I think they have Alpaca, Spade, and Sauce.
Oh, well, that's big from Purdue. And
yeah.
As for, oh god, my brain's already forgetting. As for Cincinnati, they looked really impressive yesterday, sweeping Louisiana Tech, and really continuing that momentum against the Florida State team that let their foot off the gas versus Illinois yesterday, and that could be a big upset brewing for the Bearcats there.
Yeah, I mean, that Kansas one is definitely a big surprise to me, because in most of the brackets, prediction brackets, I saw Kansas was at least making it to semis, if not the finals. So if Purdue can top them here in round 2 of the playoffs, that would be a huge upset. But as we turn back towards the game, playing right in front of us right now, the Oregon Ducks trying to get that offense brewing once again here early on in the game. Definitely do not want to keep their foot off the pedal, but Butler defense looking decent here so far. Nothing too dangerous that they've been forced to try and defend against. And they look to get a little bit of offense themselves here. It's kind of a quiet game so far, but as I say, there's always the quiet right before the storm. So at any moment here, we could see the floodgates open, and that's almost a little own goal allowed from J-Way there as it made its way towards the net, but he was able to recover in time and keep that away from the net.
Yeah, Butler with all the pressure so far in Game 4. It's a good sign for them, but looks like Oregon's going to start to get some opportunities of their own. This one pushed forward by J-Way. Mira, good control to keep it away from a couple of Oregon attackers. Aramis, though, big dunk, whifty there. We'll give it right back into Butler's possession. Looking to set up some offenses. Akashi pushing for a bump after that missed touch, but nothing much after. Imminent doing so well to maintain control of this ball and push Oregon back onto the counterattack offense that they've been so familiar with and so potent with this entire series. Butler a little more keen to it this time, though, and that Mira sidewall double will make sure of it.
I think that's the first time I've heard that term, whifty. I've heard a couple different terms for it, but that's the first time I've heard that one. That's probably my favorite one. It's very accurate. I mean, they both go to dunk the ball, and I mean, neither of them end up playing the ball.
Oh, there it is again.
And I mean, again, 3 minutes left to play in this game, and still no score. These teams have been playing pretty conservatively here in game number 4. I mean, Oregon is basically pretty allowed to do that. They have a 3-game lead in the series. They've won all 3 so far, so they're allowed to play a little bit more conservative. That's a little dangerous, but Imminent not able to get that follow-up touch to put it towards the net. Just goes a little wide. And I mean, if anybody needs to get things going here, it's this Butler team. They're the ones who are down 0-3 in the series. They're the ones who are in need of these goals and these game wins.
Yeah, Oregon playing a little groggily right now, I'd say. Not really too concerned with going on offense. They're fine allowing Butler to fail their pushes into the orange back third. So Imminent will try to get something going for the Ducks. Air dribble past 1. Not much coming after it, though. Actually, does going to bump in the boost steal, so it doesn't even lead to anything. Krieg is instead on the ball. Gets a demo forward. This could be a chance for Butler. Fake by Akashi. 2 back. Maybe even just 1 in the form of Imminent, but the cut went awry. And that will be all she wrote for this Butler push. Hopefully.
Still not out of the woods yet is this Oregon defense. Butler maybe playing a little bit slower, allowing for those boost reservoirs to restock. And I mean, this ball is still on that Oregon back line, so it's still in a dangerous spot, but Aramis now finally opening up that defense and able to get it out of that orange half. And that was dangerous. Well, I wouldn't say it was too dangerous, but it was definitely on that orange back line for quite a while there. So definitely could have developed to be dangerous, but that Oregon back third was able to keep it away from the net for long enough before it was eventually cleared out.
Yeah, I think a possibility that we haven't considered, Oregon is trying to get the series to end as quickly as possible by not scoring until the very last second. So we'll see if that comes true, or if Butler will have something to say about this, the fortunes of this one. Mira cutting it forward, flicking it past 1, forces him in it to save. The pressure is still on. Akashi 50-50. Will be neutral, but looks like Aramis keen to the task. Forcing a double commit out of Butler now. J-Way pushing it forward. Mira last back on flat 0, able to deflect it as both teams posture for potential golden goal territory in the last 15 seconds.
I didn't even realize we were at 10 seconds left. Holy crap. That just happened. It felt like a minute ago I said it was 3 minutes left. We could see overtime here. Less than 5 seconds. Aramis with the quick-paced shot, sneaking it through that defense, though, in the meantime, with 1 second left on the clock. Everybody from Butler kind of in no man's land, and Aramis takes advantage. And yeah, like you said, maybe Oregon had enough of Rocket League. They want a little bit bigger of a break, so they want to end this as soon as possible, and that will hit the ground. Oregon getting the sweep against Butler here, winning that final game 1-0. A little bit of a surprise, but I mean, Oregon, they had the opportunity to play a lot more conservatively, and they took advantage of that, and they still came out with the win.
Yeah, huge performance from Oregon, just completely controlling the entire series from start to finish. Butler just never really looked like they were really competitive, even when they were tied, scoring goals. They were just a step behind Oregon. It felt like the Ducks really doing a lot to push things in their favor. They will be moving on to the quarterfinals. Butler, their season will come to a close, a respectable top 16 finish, but championship push will have to wait for another